This is part 4 of my Steam library check. The letter D. More games, more games, more games. A whole series of games, or 2 series, I don't know. You'll see a lot of games that work, a lot of games that don't work as intended, and more. I mean, need I say more? So this is how things are. Firstly, we'll be testing just the base game. No alternative entries or utilities. If a game doesn't work by default, but we found a workaround for it, we'll let you know what the workaround is. You know, like Proton GE. Secondly, we will be testing delisted titles. I'll tell you if a title's delisted. Thirdly, we won't be testing anti-cheat games that could get my account banned, like Destiny 2. Nextly, we won't test VR titles, or like a title's separate open beta. Thirdly, we'll be looking at games in alphabetical order, though in case we run into an entire game series, we'll be looking at that in chronological order. Lastly, this is for entertainment purposes. This is not a definitive test of games. In some cases, I might miss some issues that may happen, especially later on in the game. But if any issues happen while I'm playing the game, I'll be sure to let you guys know what happens. We're gonna start off with probably the most unusual game in this section. Dariusburst, Chronicle Saviours. Yeah, the game's launcher is kind of meh, but that's besides the point. The game itself has 2 distinct modes of play. Another Chronicle mode and Chronicle Savior mode. Now, why is this important? Well, let's look at Another Chronicle. This right here is a port of Dariusburst Another Chronicle, and it comes with the EX re-release as well. Why is this special? Well, because this game right here, it was meant for a 32:9 aspect ratio. Basically, one of these. And the actual arcade unit itself is no slouch either. But what matters is that AC mode works. And this game has a killer soundtrack, you really should listen to it. Now enough about AC mode, let's talk about CS mode, Chronicle Saviours mode. Chronicle Saviours mode is a console exclusive mode, you know, judging by the fact that it looks like it's playable on an actual console. I mean, this mode works. It works just fine. In fact, this is probably the preferred way if you play on a Steam Deck. Without an ultra-wide monitor, that is. Now we move on to the first major headliner, Dark Souls 1. No, this isn't Dark Souls Remastered. This is Dark Souls Prepare to Die Edition. The original PC release. The original, PC release that everyone hated and required DS fix for. I did not install DS fix, and in retrospect, I probably should have, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't bother with it. But installing DS fix is about as easy as it is on Windows. All you have to do is extract the files and extract them into your game directory. Not much else is needed there. Dark Souls 2 is an interesting specimen because originally when I tried it, there was just a black screen, and I detailed it all in a separate video down in the description below. I'm gonna be honest with you, I really didn't plan on spending this much time on trying to get Dark Souls 2 working. But then miraculously, all of a sudden, it started working properly. When I rebooted my Steam Deck, when I reinstalled Dark Souls, when I disabled plugins, none of that changed anything. But then all of a sudden, it starts working properly, even on the latest version of Proton. The opening cutscene isn't broken either. And most importantly, I can type my name in. Yeah, that's right, I can finally play Dark Souls 2. I'm not really sure why it didn't work to begin with, but I did document it. Yes, I can finally play the game the way it was meant to be played. Dying. Yeah, I think I've had enough of Dark Souls 2. Let's play a different game. Dark Souls 3 works, and the true mark of a Dark Souls player is whether or not you can kill this lizard at the beginning of the game. Of course, being the true Dark Souls player that I am, I decided to kill the lizard at the beginning of the game. Dark Souls 3 on all default settings does not stick to a very stable 60 FPS. In fact, I don't even think it's hit 60 FPS period this entire fight. With a little bit of tinkering though, I'm confident you could hit 60 FPS. You could also probably lower the resolution and enable FSR if you really wanted to. That's my plan anyways. Next up is Day of Defeat and Day of Defeat Source. With regular old Day of Defeat, you have to use Steam Input to define your controls because the game has no controller support. Day of Defeat Source also works as well, and it actually has controller support, though honestly, I'm not really into World War II shooters. Still though, if you want to play this game, you can totally do so on the Steam Deck. Daymare for the most part works on Steam Deck. It definitely plays like a classic third-person Resident Evil game, you know, like Resident Evil 4. Of course, I haven't even really gotten that far, but it seems pretty interesting. I think I'm gonna save this for October. Oh, wait a second. Is this actually happening right now? Am I gonna actually? Oh no, I am. Rest in peace, my dude. I'll figure out why I shot you in October. Oh, that's not ominous at all. This is Dead Estate. It's kind of like Enter the Gungeon, or you know, Binding of Isaac or whatever, but isometric this time. I'm gonna be real with you, the isometric perspective is really tripping me out, especially in a game like this where you would typically, you know, aim and oh, that's why so many people like this game. Next on this list is Dead Rising 2, Off the Record. So the very first time I booted up this game, I got an issue saying loading DLC, please wait, and it just never loaded the downloadable content. You know, not that I own any or anything like that, you can't even buy them anymore. And it seems to have put my game in this perpetual state of just loading. So, being the intrepid little explorer that I was, I decided to reboot the game. And guess what? The game worked this time. What the heck happened? What is going on here? And there you go, the game works. Dead Rising, the old Dead Risings anyways, are really fun games. You should give them a shot. Now for the hard part, finding the Servbot masks. You know, I hear this is a really good walking simulator. The question then, of course, is whether or not you like walking simulators or not, and I, for one, am not a huge fan of them. But hey, if you like them, you can play them on your Steam Deck, and this one certainly works on your Steam Deck. The next game on this list is actually Death Stranding, and Death Stranding took like a million years to load up, but you know what, it did load up, and it runs pretty decently, if I do say so myself. This is the original release of Death Stranding, you know, the version that's not available for sale anymore. This one's been delisted. But you know what? It's been marked as verified anyways. But what you guys really want to know is how Death Stranding Director's Cut runs, and I can confidently say with FSR on, like in-game FSR, not Steam Deck's own FSR, the game runs quite well, 60 FPS even. Okay, so maybe not quite 60 FPS, but it is quite good. Oh my god, is that Bond girl Léa Seydoux? It looks like Mr. Kojima really did pull all of the strings in Hollywood. Next up is Deathmatch Classic, which doesn't seem to work on Steam Deck. It's not loading up or anything, so like, you know, it's whatever, I guess. Next up, Death's Gambit Afterlife. A lot of death in these games. Oh yeah, you know this is the edgiest class in the game. This is what I live for, playing as the edgiest character possible. It's a pretty fun Metroidvania game, though I really haven't gotten far enough to really give you a real opinion, other than the fact that the game works. This right here is Deathsmiles I II. It's a horizontal shmup by Cave, so you know there's going to be bullets everywhere. So both Deathsmiles I and II work. Deathsmiles 1 is pretty fun. It's not too bad if you select the easier modes. Deathsmiles 2 though ramps up the difficulty substantially, and it's in 3D instead of 2D. Wait a minute, the first game had a Halloween town. Now the second game is a freaking Christmas reference. Yo, am I playing Anime Nightmare Before Christmas? Next up is The Deed. You know, you really shouldn't judge a game by its price, but this game in this case was 99 cents, and I'm not even sure how it got into my Steam library. This right here is an RPG Maker game. But hey, dialogue choices, I get to be an asshole. I went into this game totally blind, not really sure what kind of game this was. It's okay, I guess. I've heard this game is quite short, so I might just play through it all the way through. This next game here is called Deepest Sword. I've already beaten this game once, but more or less, it's a game where you slay a dragon with your sword. And as you can see here, it's gonna take you quite a bit to... I can't even. So the main trick to this game is that you have to go through multiple loops, and each time you go through a loop, you get a bigger sword. And the level gets longer. You should definitely give this game a try. It's totally free. The next game on our list is Deiland. I think I'm starting to notice a pattern here. There's a ton of these games that I have no idea where I got them from, nor do I know how they got into my library. I really should give this game more of a shot. I need to give it more of a fair shake later on, because honestly, I don't really know how to describe it right now. But it's a very intriguing game. It almost reminds me of like a survival crafting game. It might actually be one of those, I'm not entirely sure. But what matters in this video is that you can boot up the game and you can start playing it as well. And this right here is Despotism 3K. This breeding tube here is a little more explicit than I thought it would be. It's more or less a resource management sim where you are an overlord AI, and you have enslaved the entirety of humanity. Oh, don't mind the censor. The censor won't be there when you actually play the game. Yes, and when I said breeding tube, well, you know what I meant. It works on deck though, so that's all that really matters. One very notable exclusion is Destiny 2. Destiny 2 would have been a perfect experience on the Steam Deck. A lot of people in the Steam Deck community really want to play Destiny 2 on their Steam Deck, including many other Steam Deck YouTubers who I've spoken to about this, and they agree they want to play Destiny 2 on the Steam Deck. Now hear me out, I'm not saying that I'm gonna go flawless in Trials of Osiris on the Steam Deck. I'm just saying if you gave me the opportunity to, I would try it out. I just don't want to go through the hassle of installing Windows on my Steam Deck, not to just play one single game on my Steam Deck. That's stupid. So yes, both Deus Ex Human Revolution and its director's cut work on Steam Deck. And it's been so long since I've played this game that I have no idea where I am. This save is at least 7 years old. So yeah, I guess I get to start from the beginning again. And this is Deus Ex Mankind Divided. It's already starting off to a better start because honestly, there's not like a super long intro sequence. And yeah, this game doesn't really run that well either, though you could probably tinker around with it, but I don't feel like it. You could also just cap it to 30 FPS. That's always a valid option. The next game on this list is Dex. This game is very much a Deus Ex style game, albeit in 2D. No, it's not a Metroidvania. Not quite. I definitely played this game a few years back and it's actually pretty fun. However, this game is several years old at this point and it does feel quite a bit clunky, especially compared to modern games, though it's still a pretty good game if you want to play it. So this is Dino D-Day and I got this game for free. And sorry my faithful Americans, I'm gonna pick the side with dinosaurs. What? Anyways, I don't think anyone actually plays this game, and plus this game doesn't really feel that great. But hey, I guess this game works. This is Dirt Rally, and you may be wondering why I'm so bad at racing games, and the question is I have no idea either. With driving this bad, one has to wonder why I even have a driver's license to begin with. But hey, it works on Steam Deck, so that's all that matters. Now, Disgaea 1 had some really weird issues, especially with the screen resolution. I don't even know how to describe it really. Which, you may have to go into the settings to resolve this issue. And don't forget to set your voices to Japanese in Disgaea because I'm not playing any of the Disgaea games in English. Wow, I have Plein Air already? Nice. She's really busted though, she's typically an unlockable character. How come they gave Plein Air to me at the start? Anyways, Plein Air is really broken, don't use her unless you don't value gameplay, I don't know. I'm gonna be really honest with you, I really miss Disgaea 1. It's been a really long time since I've played this game and it's honestly one of the best PS2 games. Definitely start with Disgaea 1 if you want to get into the series. The next game on this list is Disgaea 2, of course, and it's an improvement overall. It's overall a better game than Disgaea 1. It's also got this weird resolution issue, so you should definitely fix it as well. You can easily fix this in the settings menu, but hey, after you fix it, the game works. Wait, do I have Plein Air again? Dude, I'm gonna get Plein Air in every game, aren't I? And wow, what is going on here? So curiously enough, Disgaea 3 isn't available on PC, nor is Disgaea D2. So we're gonna head straight to Disgaea 4. Disgaea 4 offers the biggest jump in graphics. All of the sprites are high resolution, and as a result look significantly better. And Disgaea's gotten way more complicated since Disgaea 3, so if you jump from Disgaea 2 to Disgaea 4, And here's Disgaea 5, dude. I'm gonna confess, I've never actually finished Disgaea 5, dude. So, you know what, maybe I will finish Disgaea 5 on my Steam Deck, dude. But hey, I'm a Disgaea expert, so it shouldn't be too hard, right? I should also mention that the attack animations get crazier and crazier with each passing game. And this is just a basic team attack. Of course, the true hallmark of any Disgaea game is the ability to create your own characters. There are multiple classes in each game, and multiple tiers of each class in each game depending on, well, progression and stuff like that. There's a lot in these games. Even Disgaea 1 is quite complicated, so I'm not going to explain any of it. And finally, Disgaea 6, the first Disgaea game to give you a taste of what real endgame is like. Look at that, you hit millions of damage. Stat values reach millions as well. And it's part of the reason why people love Disgaea so much, because the stat values get insane. There are so many ways of getting extremely powerful in Disgaea, so much so that basically nothing poses a threat in the game. But all of that typically happens after the story mode, unless you're quite familiar with the game, that is. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, I kinda got lazy with the footage and I didn't show any endgame footage because, honestly, I'm just not there on any of my Steam copies of any Disgaea games that I own. But if you like strategy RPGs, definitely play Disgaea. Next up on our list is Disney classic games, Aladdin and The Lion King, and also apparently The Jungle Book? The Jungle Book is DLC, so I'm not gonna bother. And this right here is the Genesis version of Aladdin. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not a big fan of how small the actual gameplay screen is. I really would like to make the screen a little bigger while keeping the same aspect ratio. And, you know, you can do that. I showcased it right here in The Lion King. I've heard these games are quite difficult, and I tend to agree with that assessment. Next on the list is Distraint, Deluxe Edition. I actually believe I got this for free as part of a promotion somewhere, but I can't remember where. Anyways, this game's pretty interesting. It's a 2D psychological horror game. The game can get kind of unnerving at times, especially if I'm playing this at like night. Oh shit. The game's like $5, it's pretty decent. Next up is DJMax Respect V. DJMax is most famous as a PSP series, and look at that, you can play it portably again. A big problem with this game is that this game is online only. There's no way to play this offline. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not that great at rhythm games with a controller. I fare a bit better on keyboard, but that's neither here nor there. Next up is Dodge. It's a very basic game. All you have to do is dodge things. You can't even buy this game anymore. This game's been delisted. And if I recall correctly, this game was only like 99 cents. I'm not sure why I have this in my library. Maybe the dev gave it away for free at some point or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Anyways, the objective is to just dodge these squares. There's no real incentive in playing this game. There's no achievements, no trading cards, nothing really. Now this right here is Dodgeball Academia. This game's pretty fun. Kind of reminds me of those old Super Dodgeball games. The ones created by the original River City Ransom developers, but that's besides the point. This game right here is more or less a homage to that, in my opinion. It's quite a bit different gameplay-wise, but it's one heck of a good time. Speaking of good times, if you hate having fun, you should play DoDonPachi Resurrection instead. This game will destroy your will to live, and mine too. DoDonPachi Resurrection, or as I've been calling it for years, DoDonPachi Daifukatsu, is a pretty good game. Oh lord. It's also like among the hardest shmups ever. Like, you think Touhou's hard? Play this instead. And this right here is Doki Doki Literature Club. It's been a very long time since I've even thought about this game. Doki Doki Literature Club is my favorite meme game. And you know what? I think a lot of what fueled the DDLC discourse was all of the secret stuff hidden in there. You know, the ARG for Project Libitina or whatever it's called. And because we're probably not getting that anytime soon, r/DDLC became just another generic anime subreddit. Not that that's a bad thing or anything, but like, you know, it's kind of a far cry from what DDLC was. So this is actually the original DDLC release. I didn't buy DDLC Plus. I can't be bothered to. So yeah, DDLC works. Even the part in Act 3. You know the part. Now this right here is Doom. What you should do is set your graphics API to Vulkan first. Going from OpenGL 4.5 to Vulkan will give you significantly better performance. I mean, there isn't really much here to say besides it works, and damn does this game feel nice. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't really done a whole lot of FPSs on controllers in a very long time, so like, you know. Doom Eternal though, even better. You know, as like one of the games that was first showcased on the Steam Deck, I would have been surprised if this game didn't work. But you know, I'm not surprised the game works. It's probably one of the quintessential Steam Deck games that you should play. And here's Double Dragon Neon. Double Dragon Neon's okay. I think there are way better beat 'em ups out there, but you know, this one's kind of not bad. And it's definitely 2 players local, so if you had a second player to play with you, or you know, perhaps Steam Remote Play together, you could totally play this game with someone else as well. And this is Downwell. This game is insanely addictive. Essentially, it's a roguelike in which you go down. You just keep going down. You've got a very simple game loop in which you can either jump on enemies or shoot them with your gun boots, and you essentially combo them. And there are upgrades to go about between each level that you can obtain, but ultimately, well, you lose them if you die, so don't die. This right here is an excellent game, especially for $3 as well. Definitely pick it up if you have the chance. And this right here is Dragon Fin Soup. I actually got this game for free due to, I forget what the circumstances were, but more or less, if you played this game on any of the PlayStation systems it was out on, PS3, PS4, or PS Vita, they gave you a Steam code as well. And it also just so happened that I got this game for free via PlayStation Plus at some point in time, so like yeah, here we are. It's an interesting game. It's a roguelike. It's a more traditional roguelike experience. It's pretty fun. I played this game on the Vita and it was pretty decent, though there were bugs that I think they eventually fixed, but I just haven't played it since then, so it's been a couple of years. And this right here is Dragon Marked for Death. This was developed by Inti Creates, and they even got the guy that did the Mega Man Zero art to come back and do the art for this game as well. It's a 2D action RPG, and you can play with multiple people in a party if you so desired, though I'm just playing the single player. It's not quite Mega Man Zero, but you know what? I think this game is pretty fun. I like it a lot. And while it may not be exactly Mega Man Zero, it certainly is very reminiscent of Mega Man Zero, especially the part where you get your ass handed to you. Though given that it's an RPG, I mean, your character grows in level. I've already showcased Dragon's Dogma once on the Steam Deck, so here's some footage of Dragon's Dogma working on the Steam Deck. That said, you will want to launch Proton Experimental when playing this game, because without it, if you press the Steam button, it pauses the game with no way to unpause the game. It's a really annoying bug, and it makes sense as to why Valve marked this as unsupported. So yeah, you can either use Proton GE or Proton Experimental, and you should be good. Next up is Drawful 2. It's a game developed by the Jackbox creators, so obviously I can't really play it right now, but it looks like it works. Due Process unfortunately does not work on Steam Deck. Well, sort of. You can load the game and you can go do the tutorial, but you can't actually play any games online with anyone else. Therefore, you can't really play the main game, which is unfortunate. The developers have stated that they want to get this game working not just on Linux, but also on the Steam Deck, but that was several months ago. As for Duelyst, well, there's one reason why Duelyst doesn't work anymore. The servers are down. Permanently. It's game over. This is Dungeon Fighter Online. This is a character I played several years ago, but honestly, the gear's probably outdated by now. But that's besides the point. The game seems to work, but at times when you click on random windows, the game will just spaz out and not work as expected, unfortunately. So I can't really recommend this game right now. And this is Dungetris. Haha, funny, Dungeon Tetris, yeah, whatever. It's a game, and it works on Steam Deck, but I have no interest in playing said game. Now this is Dust, an Elysian Tale. This game, I haven't played it in like a solid decade. Unfortunately, my original save data from back in the day, like 2012 or 2013 or whatever, no longer exists, and there's no cloud save, so like yeah, it's gone forever. But anyways, I'll just start over on the highest difficulty. This game is actually pretty good, though ultimately the game is kind of ruined when you realize that you can just use the Izuna drop combo on every enemy in the game, and it'll just decimate them. It works on Steam Deck, but the question is this game worth picking up in the year 2022? Well, it depends. Are you okay with the furry art? Personal opinion, I think it's very inoffensive furry art, so it's whatever, I guess. This right here is Dying Light. Yes, Dying Light 1 works on Steam Deck. I don't have Dying Light 2, sorry. But that's besides the point. The point is that this is a game that I really should just sit down and start playing because I haven't gotten anywhere in the game. It's one heck of a good time, and if you can make use of gyro as well as, you know, the trackpads for moving around, you're golden. Dying Light is also one of those games that really excels at showcasing just how good you can be with Steam inputs, which I'm not right now. So what did we learn today? Well, we learned that sometimes games will have issues that just miraculously go away. They didn't go away on resets, on switching Proton versions, on disabling things, uninstalling, reinstalling. They'll just go away by themselves, which I think kinda sucks, but you know what, that's whatever. I also learned that I have a bunch of heavy hitters under the D section in my Steam Deck library, and that I have some of the hardest games you can play on Steam right now on your Steam Deck. And I'm not talking about Dark Souls, no, I'm talking about DoDonPachi Daifukatsu, Black Label Edition. And I have an all-time classic JRPG series, Disgaea 1 through 6. But here's the thing though, Disgaea 3 isn't on Steam for some reason. Maybe they should add that as well. Curiously enough, I'm also missing the Dark Souls 1 remaster. Kinda wish I took advantage of that deal they had. If you like high-tech lowlife, you should subscribe and check out my other videos. In fact, if you like high-tech lowlife, you should check out my Discord server in the description down below. It's one heck of a good time and I know you'll like it.